Hello, this is Tim from Two Blokes from Blighty, and before we get into today's episode, we're going to hear a lovely message from our lovely friend, Lovely Dan, at the Lovely Casting Views. Take it away, Lovely Dan.
So lovely. So many lovelies, so little time.
Fancy taking a humorous trip down a random topic each week? You do? Well, you're in luck. Casting Views, presented by me, Dan, and a host of guests, bring you just that. With topics from the world of entertainment, science, sport, and everyday life, there's bound to be a topic that's going to inform and amuse. Catch Casting Views every Sunday on all listening platforms now.
God, he's so lovely.
And beautiful.
And beautiful.
Kissable, I think you said before.
Absolutely.
Rent-free, living in your head. R.I.P. They commented. I felt it when they said, "We only ever love you when you're seeing red." Bleh. Welcome to Two Blokes from Blighty. My name is Joey Fitzgerald. I am joined by the scandalous Tim Fitzgerald. Tim, how are you feeling?
I'm in all heaps of trouble.
Ooh, what heaps of trouble?
You'll see in tomorrow's Hello magazine.
The scandal, the shock.
Yeah.
Tim, how are you?
I've still got a bit of a cough, but I'm good. What about you?
I think you've handed me your cough.
Oh, no.
It's bad juju. Bad juju all around.
Not a fan. So if we have to suddenly turn away or something, or if there's a sudden cut, both have a coughing fit or something.
Or I'm just going to go in the mic, no hand in front of it. I'm just going to...
So you're going to do an old person cough?
Yeah, I'm going to... Tongue out and everything.
Yeah. Tim, when old people cough in public, they seem to just look up.
Yeah, I get that.
Gross. Don't like it.
I like it. It spreads an umbrella of disease. Tim, we start the episode in the same way every week. You come up with a pub quiz question of the week.
Pub quiz question of the week. Not a jingle. That's a sound effect at best.
What we have there is a fucking jingle, Tim.
Pub quiz question of the Jeep. I was about to say of the Jeep. That's not a word.
A pub quiz question in a Jeep.
In a Jeep. Joey, how many duffs are there in the EastEnders theme?
Duff, 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 duff. 9.
Okay, next question. Which city is further west, Bristol or Edinburgh?
Edinburgh.
Yes.
Okay.
Good. Despite being on the east coast of Scotland, it's actually further west than Bristol. Okay, last one then, and then we'll move on to something else. Because
you want me to not answer this one?
No, it's fine. It's fine. What is Michael J. Fox's middle name?
Joseph.
It's not Joseph. I'm going to give you 3 guesses for now, and you can have 3 guesses at the end.
Jekyll.
It's not Jekyll. Not Michael Jekyll Fox.
Is it just J-A-Y?
No, it's not J-A-Y.
Boo.
No. Okay, but we'll come to that at the end of the podcast.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Tim.
Yep.
The day today is the 23rd of October. We're recording a week in advance. What day of the week is it now? Because surely the episode will come out on the same day.
It is Wednesday.
A Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Here you go then.
Tim and Joey talking loud. Holidays that make them proud. Calendar check every week. Which day holds the peak? Valentine's is on a pivot. Christmas Eve sometimes hits it. New Year's Eve can be found smiling on a Wednesday round. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Time to shake the mood. Celebrate whatever's there. Make the middle week a fair.
Can I say, by the way?
I fucking love that jingle.
Can I say, by the way, I was looking at our calendar and I noticed that the US election happens the day before an episode of ours comes out.
Oh, that is exciting, isn't it?
We're going to have a lot to talk about this week, that week rather. I'm going to say this for people in the Americas who may be listening: go and vote. Go and vote. Go and early vote if you can. Just go and vote.
Who are you going to tell them to early vote for?
I'm not going to tell them to early vote for anyone. I think it's important that they cast their own vote, but whatever you do, go and vote.
Can they cast their own views?
Yes, perhaps. With their votes.
With their vote, yeah, cast your vote. Tim, our days of the week have nothing to do with voting.
By the way, speaking of the voting, I'm going to try and find a weird history for that week related to elections.
I'm sure you could come up with something.
I mean, this election cycle alone is mental, but I think it feels a little too much like a fresh wound, if you like.
Yeah. Okay, do you want your days of the week?
Hit me with them.
So, National Speak Up for Service Day.
Okay, yeah.
Says where it's on the tin.
Yep, easy, straightforward.
National Publicists Day.
Nah.
No, there's only one more.
Okay.
National Wicked Day.
As in the musical.
It's in the musical. I feel like it would be a better day if it was like stuff that is wicked.
Yeah, that's wicked.
But no, it's the musical.
No, I'm going to have to go for Speak Up for Service Day because the other two are a bit crap.
I mean, not all three of them are a bit dull.
Yeah. Speak Up for Service. If you're in a restaurant, yell louder to get the waiter's attention. That's how we're celebrating it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speak up for service by being a dick to people in the service industry.
Yes.
Well, there you go, people.
Set an example so no one. So at the end of the day, they'll be like, I had one really annoying customer listening to a podcast from Britain, and everyone else was just fine by comparison.
And then everyone stood up and clapped.
There, yeah. And he's so right. That's why we
do you
voted for him.
to burst your bubble again?
Yeah.
So National Speak Up for Service Day is actually recognised the importance of young people actively involved in community service.
Everyone drive down the motorway and throw litter out the window. Give them something to do.
Exactly. That is a great idea.
Or throw rocks so they have to pick them.
Yeah, that would be more environmentally friendly.
Yeah. But the litter one is at least colourful.
Well, don't litter, please. Can we just say that now? Don't litter. Recycle your rubbish is what we actually think are here at Two Blokes from Blighty Towers.
But just for this one day, you know.
No, not for any day, Tim. jokes aside, we don't want you to litter.
No, big jokes aside, don't do that.
Do you know, I looked over at my other monitor with the soundboard on, and the first one on there is 2 girls, 1 reusable cup, and I just thought about how they would react to you saying, drive down the motorway and throw all your rubbish out the windows, and it really put my day into perspective.
I'm kidding. Just leave the boot open and put it in there.
Tim, do you still want to go with Speak Up for Service Day?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, the other two were kind of awful.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Tim, we've got a few things on the running order.
We do, actually, which is great. It's nice.
I'm going to let you start. Where do you want to start, Tim?
I'm going to go with my favourite hypothetical question of the week.
Okay, let's do it. I was talking hypothetical questions today at work. They're definitely, if there was a HR representative in the office today, I might not have a job.
Well, I've got something of a reputation on the team as the guy who comes up with pointless questions.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not talking Alexander Armstrong, Richard Osman pointless. I'm talking hypotheticals. This one, very straightforward. You are now a burglar, and you're tasked with stealing an item that will inconvenience your victim the most.
Yeah.
Out their home. What are you taking?
What am I taking?
So to get your brain thinking with this, I said I'd go with the dish out the microwave.
Yeah.
Really
is it the goal here to steal something, not have them know that you've stolen something, and it be really inconveniencing?
If that's how you want to approach it, sure. I mean, I asked my manager, and he said he'd take the washer out of a shower head.
That is a good one.
That's really good.
I would take the remote for the telly.
Just the remote for the telly?
Just the remote. Actually, no, I'd take the fuse out of the plug for the telly.
Take the volume down button.
Yeah.
That'd be really annoying.
No, actually, because you know the way that the remotes work? They are like a big button and they have a little pointy bit on the back.
Yep.
I would pop the on button off, take the pointy bit off the back, and then put it back on. So no matter how hard you pushed it, it never worked.
There you go. Is that what you're going with?
Yeah, that tiny little nub on the back of the on button on the TV remote.
I've also heard a couple of answers of someone said HDMI cables.
It's quite obvious, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but it is inconvenient. Someone else said they'd take the USB brick off all the cables for like power. That is annoying.
That is annoying.
Yeah, but I'd go with the dish.
I would take the power cable for the Wi-Fi.
It's a very specific barrel pin.
Just the power cable for the Wi-Fi.
Oh,
that's
good.
A good one.
Audience, what would you take?
Yeah, that's a good one. In the Discord, what would you take? What would be the most inconvenient thing that you would take?
Yeah.
Very good. Tim, you've just added something here.
Yeah, Payne wanted me to talk about it on the podcast. I don't know if you've seen...
Let's do it. Yes, I have seen it. It's absolutely fucking rancid.
Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, you can lead it, though, because it makes me feel sick, and I already feel a bit iffy.
Everyone knows what a Lunchable is. It's like a little sandwich pack that you get. In the UK, they're made by a company called Dairyly. I think they're made by Heinz in the US. Basically, a bit of cheese.
Full of beans?
No, not full of beans, but they also do sauce, Heinz. Let's keep that in mind.
Sorry, Heinz, didn't mean to diminish your
sterling reputation
market.
Yeah. So mostly, some crackers, some cheese, slice of ham, and you make a little sandwich cracker thing.
Mm-hmm.
Logan Paul and Mr. Beast have put one out, and this online blogger, TikToker, YouTuber, whatever the fuck they are, bought a bunch and found mold in most of them. Am I right? In most of the cheeses?
I don't know. I don't know if it was most of them or any of them is unacceptable. So,
well, considering they were dated for December this year, which is, spoiler alert, 2 months from now.
Disgusting is what it is.
Yeah. Not a fan. I don't know how I'd feel.
It's so horrible. I really liked when Logan Paul tweeted out saying if anyone has actually found genuine mold in a lunchly thing, send him a tweet and then he'll believe you. And then shitloads of people did. And he tweeted out, I guess I believe you.
That's the perfect HR response right there.
Well, he's nothing but honest. So He's not honest. He's a bit of a scumbag, really. Do you remember when he sold NFTs, little eggs that he promised would hatch and be worth thousands of pounds?
No.
Sold them for $2,000 each, and then when they didn't sell or hatch or do anything, he said fill in a form to do a refund. I follow a podcast of someone who bought one who filled in the form in February and still has not heard anything back.
My favorite NFT story, we're not going back to cryptocurrency, I promise, but my favorite NFT story is when a Mr. Bean NFT was released, and the day it was released, the crypto market crashed.
I told you my favourite with the Michael Owen ones, didn't I?
You did, yeah, with the goals.
The goals, but they weren't. Their gimmick was you couldn't sell them at a loss, and because the value went down so much, it just meant you couldn't sell them.
Yeah, you could end the sentence early with "you can't sell them."
Don't fucking do it. It's a waste of time.
Speaking of football, you've got 2 funny football stories.
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me do a cheeky jingle for you, Tim.
Runner up from the back.
Been a while since they've had this one.
Right foot.
I know.
Oh, jeez, he beeps, man.
Now Son Maximo might have a chance to run and does. Can he play a colleague through? It's Jacob Murphy. Released. Murphy one-on-one. Jacob Murphy to win it. Oh, they've got it in the net! Oh, O'Connell's mistake. McGinn.
And of course, I love this game!
My favourite part of that jingle is the Geordie going, please!
What?
Who's the Geordie guy? What does he shout?
The Geordie guy goes, because it's a guy called Jacob Murphy, and he runs the whole length of the field and then hits it directly at the goalkeeper, and he goes, just put it in the net, man!
That's the one.
It's
good.
Yeah.
Big fan of that guy.
Okay. So, Tim, my football stories this week, one of them is recent, one of them is not.
Okay.
So, the first one is the more recent one.
Sure.
And it's about a referee in Spain. His name is, and I did have it, but I think I've closed it like a moron.
Control-Shift-T is your friend, baby.
Let's have a look. Yeah, well done. Thanks, Tim.
You're
That
so welcome.
Saves a bit of editing for you. So he appeared on a TV show in Spain called El Chiringuito.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know what it translates to, but
El Chiringuito.
El Chiringuito is broadcast on Twitch. That's the level of professionalism that we're at here. But it's widely recognised in Spain as quite a popular sports show.
Sure.
So they had this former La Liga, which is the Spanish Premier League, referee who is named Pajares Paz. Side note, his name translates in English to peaceful haystacks.
Huh.
So they had
nice.
peaceful haystacks on the show, talking about bias within the Spanish league after an English manager said this week that the referees favour the big teams.
Right.
Whilst saying, oh no, actually, I should ask you, Tim, if I asked you about Spanish football, what teams would you be able to name as someone who does not watch or like football?
Real Madrid.
Okay. Anyone else?
Barcelona?
Yeah. Anyone else? And you can say no here, it's fine.
There's another one that is coming to mind, but I can't think of what it is. Obviously outside of the Spanish World Cup team, but there is another one. I can't think of the name.
Okay. But so the big clubs, right, are the ones you know.
Sure.
In a sentence while saying that referees did not favour the big teams, Peaceful Haystacks has a pet parrot in his office.
Wait, okay, hang on.
So this isn't in a studio. They are dialing him in on Zoom. I should have stated that.
Right, okay.
He's not an eccentric gentleman that carries a parrot on. But whilst doing this, his parrot starts singing the Real Madrid anthem.
That's amazing.
Do you know what his response was to this?
What?
First, he told the parrot to shut up, shush, shush. And whilst the people in the studio were laughing, he said, another ex-referee, who I can't pronounce his name, Rizar Azpitate, I might have butchered that, has a parrot that says cabron when it hears the word Barcelona. Do you know what cabron translates to?
No.
Bastards. So in a sentence while saying referees don't favour the big clubs, his parrot started singing the Real Madrid theme song, and then he said another referee's parrot calls Barcelona bastards.
Good.
So good. I thought you'd enjoy that.
That is very funny.
The other one, I want to take you on a trip back 11 years.
Wow.
Okay. So buckle your seatbelts, Tim.
Click, click.
Because we're going to the second tier of Nigerian Premier League.
Okay, this is a very specific league.
4 clubs involved in 2 playoff matches were suspended. The playoffs happen at the end of the season.
Okay.
The winner of the playoffs would be promoted into the Nigerian Premier League. This is the Nigerian Second League. Did I say Premier League before?
No, you did say second.
Okay, great. So the team Plateau United Feeders played Akuraba FC, and Police Machine FC played Barabayo FC, and they were all suspended for match fixing. Can you guess how they found? Yeah, all 4 teams. Can you guess how they worked out? How they worked out that these clubs were involved in match fixing?
Goalies didn't turn up.
Nope. The scores of the game. Plateau United Feeders won 79-0. And
they'll never suspect a thing.
Police Machine FC beat Borobayo 67-0. What's really good about this is the Plateau United Feeders went in at half-time 7-0 up. So in the second half, which is 45 minutes long, they scored 72 times.
Jesus Christ.
What's better than this is
nearly twice a minute.
Police Machine FC were 6-0 up at the break, and they went on to score 61 times in the second half.
That's mental. I'd have loved to have been there for that game, though.
Mental and slightly suspicious.
Yeah, a little.
Like, how
Our
is
new
that
frontman's
happening?
just that good.
How is that happening? Literally once every 30 seconds.
Yeah, if not more.
So, yeah, I thought you'd enjoy those, Tim.
That's very funny. I'm a big fan of that.
Good. Which, if you had to support one of those teams, who would it be?
Who was the team that scored 72 goals?
79. So they scored 72 in the second half.
Oh, yeah. Who was that?
Plateau United Feeders.
Definitely them. They're always winning.
Yeah, but Police Machine FC are also winning.
Yeah, but the first team were winning more.
There you go. Tim is a glory hunter.
Yeah. I mean, pick a top tier,
Yeah, I agree. Good for you, Tim.
Good.
There you go.
Yeah.
We always do weird history before jokes, but this time we're going to go jokes first, Tim.
Cool. That's pretty funny, to be fair. That joke was weak. I misread that as that's the joke of the week.
Tim, welcome to our Joke of the Week section where we tell each other jokes. For those of you who don't know, the goal here is for us not to laugh at each other's jokes. If we can't handle it and our sides are splitting with laughter after a one-liner is told, that's it. The joke section's over and we move on. So it could be after one and it could be not at all, and we're perpetually in a joke section of the week. Yep. Tim, how many jokes do you have?
I got 10. What about you?
I have 9, so you can go ahead and start.
Well, audience, join in. Let us know where you laughed, if you did.
Where you cracked.
Yeah. Joey, how do you get a nun pregnant?
Have sex with her?
Yeah, fuck her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember what happened last week with the Joke of the Week section?
Yeah, you had to beep one.
Yeah, but I had a theme. Tim, why did the skeleton go to the party?
Why?
Because he heard it was a bonanza.
That's really good. I was expecting that he had no body to go with, but that's
why he
really
didn't
good.
go. This was a bonanza, so
he did go.
So he did, yeah. So
I like it.
You're up.
They say that during sex you burn as many calories as running 8 miles, but who's running 8 miles in 1 minute?
A minute's quite a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fast for a mile.
It's like...
Or 8 miles, rather.
It's like 3 sessions.
Something like that, yeah.
Tim, why did the skeleton refuse to ride a roller coaster?
Right, so the theme is skeletons. Go on.
He just didn't have the stomach for it.
Okay, yep, it's good.
Or any stomach. That's the joke. All the funniest ones need explaining.
Of course. I bought a Hawaiian pizza, put it in the oven, and burned it. Next time I buy one, I'll cook it at a low hard temperature.
I think we might have had that on the joke section before.
Have we?
It sounds familiar.
Huh.
Why did the skeleton join a band?
Why?
Because he wanted to play the trombone.
Okay, good.
Get it? Because he's a skeleton.
I do. I understand that one. A man walks into a room full of computer geeks and says, "Wow, there's a lot of zeros and ones." And one of the geeks goes, "Oh, you mean like in binary?" And the guy's like, "No, you're all ugly."
I saw that coming.
Yeah,
I like it, but I saw it coming.
it's pretty obvious.
What do you call a skeleton that goes out in the snow?
Dunno.
A numbskull.
That's really good.
Thanks.
That's really good. Nearly laughed at it. I was applying for my Australian citizenship, and the interviewer asked, "Do you have a criminal record?" And I said I didn't know it was still a requirement.
Very good.
Yeah,
because Australia
full of convicts,
mate.
Why
can't skeletons vibe with church music?
Why?
Because they have no organs.
Okay, yeah, that's really good. That is another really good one. I threw up in the toilet. My DVD's ruined.
Oh, that's sadder than the first 10 minutes of Up.
No, it's not. The first 10 minutes of Up is heartbreaking.
Who won the skeleton beauty contest?
Don't know.
Nobody.
All right. All right. Police were around the other night telling me that my dogs were chasing people on bikes. My dogs don't even have bikes.
That would be terrifying.
It would be terrifying. It'd be impressive, but terrifying.
Why didn't the skeleton get involved with the Plateau United Feeders FC win?
But that's a very specific joke. Why?
His heart just wasn't in it.
Okay. Have you written that one yourself?
Well, it says, why didn't the skeleton play football? But I thought I'd just link the two.
Sure, yeah. Mum said to me, can you pass me a bookmark? It's really upsetting. I'm 32 and she doesn't know my name's Tim.
Once again, I saw it coming. Now with your jokes, I'm just thinking, oh, where's the punchline here?
That's how most jokes work.
What kind of a TV does a skeleton watch?
Bone Zone, I don't know.
A Skelevision.
That's good. I'll give you that one.
Good. It's so bad.
I like that one a lot. What do you call a skunk with a laser gun?
I don't know.
Pepe Le Pew Pew Pew.
Very good. That one. I like that one. This is my final one, Tim.
Yep. Jesus Christ.
That's the one you're bleeping.
Yeah, I know it is. My last one. It's kind of a weak one. Why is dark spelled with a K and not a C?
Why is dark spelled with a K and not a C? I don't know. Why?
Because you can't see in the dark.
Whee!
Oh, what a joke. What a jape.
That's so funny. I was stalling to find the jingle.
I could tell. That's pretty funny, to be fair. That joke was weak. I misread that as that's the joke of the week. I know we said the dark joke was the joke of the week, but that was, in my opinion, one of my weakest one, and I want to give it to the Bonanza.
The very first joke I told.
I liked it.
Not the numbskull.
Okay, maybe it's going to the numbskull.
Okay. So good. That's the joke of the week. What do you call a skeleton out in the snow? A numbskull. Knee slapper. Yeah. Tim.
Yeah.
Didn't want to do it. Let's talk about... no, actually, let's put it off a bit more. I want to hear about history.
All right. History.
Feels like we've got loads of jingles in this episode.
It does. There's a lot of segments. It's nice. It's like a morning talk show at this point, because we'll soon have the weather. We've had the sports. This is history. We've had the news.
Yeah, and then we'll have the movie critic section later.
And then we'll wrap it up with like a food critique or something. You know, moldy cheese or whatever.
Oh, we've already done it then.
Great, done.
Happy days.
1960s America.
Talk to me.
Japanese import cars are popular, right?
As they still are.
But this is because US car manufacturers were primarily focused on large vehicles like trucks.
Mm-hmm.
A car was needed to compete with the smaller Japanese models of the time, and the then Ford president, Lee Iacocca, ordered a car to be designed and produced by Ford Engineering. It wanted to be 2,000 pounds lighter than the average car and need to be less than $2,000 under the average car's price.
Okay.
The Ford Pinto was born.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Have you heard of this car?
No.
Okay. This is going to make it more fun. I'm going to send you an image of this car just so you have a reference.
Okay.
There you go. I've just put it in the recording chat.
Okay. Looks like a fairly standard car. It's a hatchback.
Yeah.
Hatchback, got a long bonnet. I'm trying to think of what car it reminds me of.
It's
like a very rudimentary Porsche, isn't it?
Kind of, yeah. Like if it met like an old school Volkswagen Golf.
Yeah, like an angular Porsche / Golf Volkswagen.
These began to go on sale on September 11th, 1970. Always a good omen.
Solid date.
Yeah. In 1971, the Pinto had sold 100,000 units, and it was only getting more and more popular, peaking in 1974 with 554,000 units being made in a single year.
Oof. That's a lot of cheddar.
America had just hit a gas crisis in 1974, and this part I think is going to hurt us, where fuel spiked to 30 cents a gallon.
Oh no.
30 fucking cents. Can you imagine?
Sorry, 30 cents a gallon?
30 cents a gallon.
30 cents a gallon?
Can I finish speaking?
Oh shit, that's the long one. Where's the short
so
one?
don't interrupt mine. Show some fucking respect.
Show some fucking respect.
Sorry for the language.
What was the question?
Where's the short one?
Oh,
hold on.
Sorry, what was the question? Ask me the question again.
I'll cut this out.
Such a shit jingle. Tim, 30 cents a gallon. That's so cheap compared to here.
Show some fucking respect.
That's to our American listeners. 30 cents a gallon.
And that was considered a crisis and a spike.
I paid £1.30 £1.35 a litre yesterday.
Yeah. That's rough. So
it's been rougher.
It has been rougher. Things have actually come down a bit.
A lot. It was £2 a gallon a couple of years ago. £2 a litre, sorry.
American car engineers, being used to building larger vehicles, were not used to dropping a lot of weight on a car, or off a car so suddenly. Their solution was to have no heavyweight rear bumper and to have minimal enforcement between the car's rear panel and the fuel tank.
Okay.
So because of this, any minor accident from the back had a chance to rupture. Yeah, it had a chance to rupture the fuel tank.
Nice. Sounds like solid design.
It's great design.
You don't have to pay the insurance if you die in a fiery ball.
We'll get there. On top of this, because of the cheaper materials being used, obviously they were trying to cut costs and weight, the doors also had a tendency to jam shut in accidents because the metal paneling would just compress and twist. So
just what you want when you're in a fireball.
So it just meant that if you were hit from the back, you were basically just in a bomb that you couldn't get out of.
Very good. I like it. Solid ergonomic design.
In 1977, Mother Jones magazine released an article where they managed to get their hands on a stolen copy of a memo that was sent around to senior management of Ford.
Okay.
The memo was very long. I've summarized it down to 2 points for us.
This is bad. We shouldn't sell it.
With the expected sale of 11 million Pintos, it would cost, and the cost to modify the fuel tank of $11 per unit. This recall would cost us $121 million. Mathematical formulations of probable 2,100 crashes that might result in 180 burn deaths, 180 serious burn victims, and 2,100 burnt out cars. The unit per accident, assuming an out-of-court settlement, works out to approximately 200,000 per death, 67,000 per serious injury, and 700 per burnt-out car, bringing the estimated cost to $49.53 billion. Ford went with the second option, and instead of modifying the fuel tanks for $11 each, they just didn't
let people die.
Pretty much.
Woof. Now, I mean, I'm not surprised.
No, me either. The company went on to building these Pintos without the modifications until the memo was published in this magazine. And in 1978, Ford issued a recall wherein owners could take their car to a local dealership where a plastic protective shield would be placed in between the fuel tank and the bolts that would pierce the tank, as well as two other places surrounding the fuel tank. So they put up a plastic shield.
I'm sure the plastic's not going to stop a high-impact bolt.
Yeah, you'd be right in saying that.
Cool.
So, an example of Ford's lawsuits involving the Pinto. 1972, a car crash led to the Court of Appeals upholding damages to someone in the range of $2.5 million, and Ford had to pay a fine of $3.5 million. This meant their $200,000 margin was way, way off. And obviously this led to the decision of the plastic shields.
Cool.
We're going to go slightly back in time, even further. Okay. Harry Smolinski. I'll try that again. Harry Smolinski.
Harry Smolinski.
Born in 1933 Poland, joined the North American Aviation Society as a structural engineer working on jet engines, planes, and missiles. He left the NAA to start the Advanced Vehicle Engineers in 1971 with his friend Hal Blake. Their goal was to build a flying car.
Nice. I mean, that is called a plane, but go on.
They used Cessna, I think that's pronounced, a Cessna or a Cessna, Skymaster and spliced it together with with a Ford Pinto. Obviously, they weren't aware of the exploding car at this point.
Or they were, and they thought this is wow, that image is amazing.
That is the car they called the Mesna.
Okay.
Do you want to
because when it explodes, it makes
would be a
hell
mess.
of a Mesna?
Yeah. Do you want to describe it?
Yeah, it's the car we described earlier, but with wings.
Yeah.
It's it looks like could have been duct taped onto this wing frame.
It's not far off. So the Skymaster's cabin and front engine were removed, and the rest of the plane was attached to the Pinto. And I've written here, attached is a loose term because they'd basically backed the car into an airframe and hooked it on with 4 bolts.
Nice.
So the driver controls...
Bolts that famously pierce the fuel tank.
Correct. So the driver's controls were adapted so the pilot, in air quotes, could change direction in the air by simply turning the steering wheel left or right, and the rudder would be controlled by the clutch pedal.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
Can't think of any flaws with that, Tim.
Not one. The vehicle could use the car engine and the rear engine from the aircraft that was still attached to take off in shorter distances. It had a cruising speed of 130 miles an hour, had a range of 1,000 meters, and could fly a maximum height of 12,000 feet.
Wow.
Can you imagine being in a car that's renowned for exploding, flying 130 miles an hour at 12,000 feet up?
Sounds like a great idea to me.
The first flight, the test was conducted, and the attachment failed on the right side, resulting in an unsupported wing that could rip off. So the pilot made the decision to do an emergency landing. He landed in an airfield, not an airfield, rather. He landed in a bean field.
They're the same thing.
Same thing, where the airframe was destroyed on landing, but still attached. The pilot then drove back with the remains of the frame still attached.
That sounds quite successful to me.
Sure. So despite this failed test, Ford loved the flying car, and Smolinski held press conferences with Ford as well as sales pitches, promising the vehicle was simple. And I'm going to quote from the sales pitch here. A woman could put these two systems together.
Wow.
And separate them without a help. A woman, could you imagine?
60s for a mental time, weren't
It's
they?
fucking mental.
That kind of attitude is the weirdest thing about this history section. Can you imagine a woman
doing this?
Feel like a woman. Yeah, that's crazy.
So, Smolinski's flying variant of the Pinto cost approximately $15,000, which is
bargain,
a steal. The Los Angeles Times reported the room in sales pitches was often full of skeptics, and some technical questions were not answered. The air car people acknowledged that there were problems, but they felt like they had the answers.
Cool.
They noted they were vague on answers, but couldn't go into details. 1973, another prototype's built, this time with a different plane engine being unveiled, and it was taken for a series of test flights over 3 months. September 11th, 1973, the second time September 11th has come up this story.
Yeah,
the
and
pilot
also a really good one famously for flying vehicles.
Yeah, absolutely. The pilot from the Beanfield landing incident was not available for testing the car/plane. Smolinski and Blake, the founders of the company, decided to take the plane out for themselves.
They died on impact.
Well, they made an agreement with the Ventura County Airport that they would alert the local police and fire services before any test flights. However, on this day, Smolinski made no contact, and the airport manager just saw the plane taking off without being authorized. Running to the air control tower to radio to the car, he heard the crash horn sound, and then it was followed by a column of thick black smoke rising where the car should have been.
Wow.
The alarm was sounded by one of the traffic control officers after he saw it take flight for 2 minutes, followed by the right wing folding in on itself with various parts falling off. Another witness saw it hit the top of a tree and hit a parked pickup truck on the other side of the road to the airport, exploding on impact.
Fair enough.
The coroner announced Blake and Smolinski dead. They were killed instantly, but they were unable to determine if the root cause of death was the impact from the crash, the explosion itself, the fire, or the smoke. With the inventors of the project dead, the project was cancelled, but the New York Times...
Show some fucking respect.
The cause of death, actually, I can determine, was being an idiot that attaches wings to an exploding car.
Yeah, it doesn't take a coroner.
No.
However, the New York Times has noted that in 2009, there were 11 companies that are working on flying cars at the moment, although that was, 15 years ago at this point.
It was, yeah.
I've seen a flying car prototype.
Maybe, is it a plane?
It looks like a plane. It's
Okay.
interesting. But yeah, that's history.
Well, there you go. Don't get in a flying car or you will end up a smouldering mess.
Or a Ford Pinto.
Or a Ford Pinto.
I think the people who chose to go with the decision of not replacing the fuel lines should be forced to drive around in a Pinto for a year.
Yeah, I agree.
Or do a demolition derby in one.
Not sure about that one.
No?
But yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
All right.
That was good history. Not for the guys Smolinski that got exploded, but Tim.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a film.
Yeah, let's get on with the film.
Let's talk about Uglies.
Do we have the jingle?
No, we've never had the jingle. You do the jingle. Movies.
All right, Joey, you sent me a text saying you were very excited to talk about this movie.
Did I say very excited?
I think
I'm trying to get my exact wording for you because I said I cannot wait to talk to you about Uglies.
Do you want to summarize the plot this time?
This was bad.
Do you want to summarize the plot?
No, I want you to summarize the plot in 18 seconds. Go.
Okay. This is set in a world where when people turn 16, they get forced plastic surgery to become pretty, but some people don't want that, and they go outside to join a group of people called The Smoke, and it's a film about brains over beauty or vice versa.
Stop. I think you summarized it pretty well. Tim, what did you think of this?
It was bad, but one of my recent favorite actors that I found, Joey King, the lead in this, Tammy, aka Squint, which we'll get on to the nicknames thing, I'm sure, is in all the worst movies, and I love them. But this was particularly egregious.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I hated this film, Tim.
From start to finish?
From start to finish, I hated it. Last week when you told me about it and explained the plot, I went, oh, that actually sounds quite interesting. It wasn't. No part of this was interesting. It was offensively stupid. So, the film is about Tally, who really wants to be pretty. Yeah. And I feel like, to start off with, it's her and her best mate, Paris,
also aka Nose.
Or Nose. And are they meant to be 15 at the start of this?
Correct. They're definitely not.
She was 24 when 35.
Yeah, she was 24 when they filmed this.
The other thing that is offensive about this is it's Hollywood actors who are conventionally good looking going, oh, the left side of my face is slightly asymmetrical. I'm so ugly. And then there's a part in the film where she falls in love with the guy who's the leader of the resistance. And she goes, I just want to be pretty. And he goes, you're not ugly. You're beautiful. And I just think, I wish there was a nail on the table so I could headbutt it. And it was offensively stupid. There was bits where the uglies, in quote marks.
Yeah, we should specify, by the way, this isn't us calling them the uglies to counterpoint.
They call themselves the uglies.
The uglies and the pretties.
Every time that's said, I feel a bit dumber. the uglies live in like what they call like a slum or the dorms outside the city centre. Very fine place to live by the look of it. They wake
Actually
up
looks all right.
the dormitory, and the other thing that was fucking annoying about this is the dormitory where they live was controlled by like a HAL from Space Odyssey style room person who gave them everything they wanted. But they have these rings that track them and allow the city to know where they are at all times. And they said Tally and Nose, fucking stupid names.
Shall we briefly touch on the nicknames in case we interchange with them?
It's the bits of themselves that they don't like. What don't you like? Oh, I have a slight squint. Oh, I'm going to make your whole personality call you Squint. Oh, I don't like my nose. Oh, let's remind everyone to call you fucking Nose. One of them was called Skinny.
Yeah, Skinny was the one who ran away to join the Resistance, which is kind of the big catalyst of the movie. And I love the fact that, spoilers, by the way, for the uglies, she ends up getting the plastic surgery kind of forced upon her. And she's still skinny, but she just has makeup on now.
And an enormous arse afterwards.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, she's
but
still
this
skinny.
Is the other thing they said, because they all design what they think is their most perfect self. So they get this plastic surgery to be their perfect self, and because they're perfect, they don't have to worry about war. Fuck off. They have in the palm of their hand a hologram of their perfect self. And when Tally did it, it shone up over her own face. It was literally the same, but she was wearing a bit of makeup.
Yeah, and her eyes were now yellow instead of blue.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But I'm so angry about it, I can't even remember what I was going on about. So the ring that they did to track them.
Yeah.
They said that they hacked the dorms. And what they did was they went, can I have a cup of water? And then as it was talking, she'd grab her ring and twist it. And then the voice would go, here's your cup. And it would go, as she twisted it, it'd go, cup, 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 cup. And she'd stop twisting it and go, here's your cupcake. And it's like, what the fuck is that? What kind of usefulness does that serve? She literally said, can I have a cup of water? And it was going to go, yes, here's your cup of water. She could have gone, can I have a cupcake? And it would go, yes, here's your fucking cupcake. But no, she had to hack it. And the way that they demonstrated that was so annoyingly stupid. The other thing they did was go, in the dorms, there's a curfew. And I think the point of that is that you don't see what goes on in the city. The windows are facing the fucking city.
Yeah, and they can
see
hear
the
everything.
whole thing. Hear it. There's fireworks every single night. Oh, I wonder if there's a party every single night in the city. She breaks into the city to get to Paris, and there's multiple parties going on. One thing I did not understand is to break in there to not look like one of the uglies. Every time I say uglies, I'm doing the quote marks for our audio listeners. The uglies. She finds a pig mask, puts the pig mask on, and it magically changes her clothes.
Like Cinderella style, it changes her clothes.
What the hell is that about? Then she gets to her friend. She knows it's changed the clothes because she's blending in. She takes the mask off and goes, I thought we were best friends. And he goes, well, maybe when you get here, we will be. What the hell are they on about?
I don't know.
And then they went, oh, they're at the top of a building. Oh, I wonder if there's a way down that's cool and magical. Oh, yeah, we have a bungee vest, and all the bungee vest does is allow her to jump off of a 100-story building and bounce slightly at the bottom.
Yeah.
Unfathomably dumb.
So there's two things that I really took away from this movie, and I've said it before, I love trash cinema. Did you notice the weird emphasis on hoverboards in this movie?
It was really weird.
So, for a film that's entirely about, do you want to have your brain or do you want to have your face? There's a very strange emphasis on hoverboarding and skateboards, essentially. Mm-hmm. So, this girl, Skinny, ends up walking with Squint. I hate that sentence so much. Ends up walking with Squint.
Sorry, Jenny's just texted me saying you sound so angry.
So they end up walking with Squint, and Skinny's like, "Come join the Resistance with me." And Squint's like, "No, I want to be beautiful." And Skinny's like, I've written down the directions to the resistance in a code that
only you can understand. And
they have been hanging out for a week.
No, but on top of that, they go, what are these mysterious directions? Get to the cliff face and do something silly. Oh, I wonder what that could be. Smash your face into the rock or climb the cliff face. What are you on about?
It's incredibly dumb. But the other thing that I really liked about this movie is, yes, there is a curfew, but there's also like an established police force going out looking for ugly people.
I know. It's so dumb. So dumb. And then the leader of the smoke or the resistance falls in love with Tally. And the whole point is, who was it that played the main bad guy?
It's Laverne Cox.
So Laverne Cox plays the main bad guy. And the whole thing with her is that she's this fabled woman who appears and goes, well done to our fucking ugly graduates. You can all come and have plastic surgery and hang out with me now.
To graduate, you just have to turn 60.
I hated this so much.
Yeah.
The other thing is, sorry, spoilers for the 2024 film Uglies. At the very end, they're all in the thing to go and get plastic surgery.
Oh, no, hang on. Just before we do that, there is a whole B plot where the leader of the Smoke's parents are basically living in a shack in the woods and are like, we're doing
have a lab.
Have a lab.
Have a lab.
And they're like, we're doing brain experiments on people who volunteer their brains. And we're going to try and...
You have to volunteer because that's the difference between us and them.
But like, so I think what they're trying to get at is if you have the plastic surgery, they essentially lobotomize you.
Yeah. And they say that you have scars on your front cortex or whatever it's called.
Yeah. And they're like, we're going to come up with a cure to fix it. And then the dad ends up getting his neck broken.
But so easily as well. Like it's made of Jaffa cakes. What's going on there? I don't understand.
And then everyone runs away.
Yeah.
And then we come back to the scene I think you're about to talk out.
Well, no, because I'm going right to the end here where they're about to escape. So all of the resistance get captured and they free them. And there's a bit earlier in the movie where they've got a helicopter and they're burning orchids because orchids are the source of the world's fucking problem in this vid.
It's the replacement for oil.
I'm so angry, Tim. Orchids are the replacement for oil and they're the source of this movie's problem, actually, because they turn the earth into wasteland. What the fuck are you talking about?
I would argue burning the crops is a bigger waste.
But the resistance, who were taken there in these fancy flying cars, escape the prison. They escape one room in the prison and magically have their helicopter. Yeah. And their way of freeing their leader, his mother, and the woman who's just freed them is to set them on fire.
Yeah.
What is that about?
I don't know. And then Joey King, who has been with us the whole time, is just like, I'm going to volunteer to have my brain tested on. And so I can be pretty at the same time. And
then at the end, because after her surgery, and they go, how are you feeling? And she's like, good, I like being pretty. And then it stops.
Yeah. Like it shows the scar that she had on her hand, which is a callback to the beginning of the movie. Because when they have the plastic surgery, they become their perfect selves, which means they can't have scars. And because she's not had a lobotomy, she can have a scar on her hand. I don't entirely see how that's connected.
No, so her perfect self includes a scar.
Yeah, because like your imperfections make you perfect.
Them saying that she still likes that part of her.
So the other thing as well, and I think it's what's the word that you know in Lord of the Rings?
It's the word you're looking for, Tim.
You know in Lord of the Rings how a lot of the problems could be solved by the flying eagles.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Joey King's problems could be solved by the hoverboard, because we saw Skinny and Squint sitting on the hoverboards flying at one point. And if they just said in universe it needs momentum to hover, would have been perfectly passable. Yeah. But there's a point where they're sat down on them floating in the air. But there are points where she's trying to get to the smoke or the resistance or whatever, where she's just like, I need to build up a lot of speed. It's like, do you? You could just float across.
They tried to justify this in saying, oh, there's no railroads over there. These boards need magnets to work. And then Skinny went, don't worry, it works in the minerals in the water. Is water magnetic?
Fucking magnets, how do they work?
Oh, it hurts my brain. I give this 0 blokes out of Blighty. If I had an IMDb account, I'd give it a 1 because that's a minimum you can give.
I gave a 1.5 on Letterboxd, which translates to a 3 on IMDb.
I really think I would debate watching Cats again over that.
At least, because Cats was at least like a fever dream. There was something visually interesting happening.
Nothing was interesting here. Nothing. No. It was just bad.
Love you, Joey King, but this one's a bad one.
Tim, we're watching The Terrifier.
This is the one with Art the Clown, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Are we watching the first one or the third one?
The first one. The third one's still in cinemas.
Oh, I thought it was a Netflix thing.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's Amazon Prime for starters, so...
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah.
As I already know, but could be fun.
The Terrifier. There you go. I've written it down.
You've also spelt it wrong.
I'll know what it means.
Yeah, good.
You good? You got all that out?
No, I thought I'd feel better after ranting and raving, but I don't. I feel sad.
Did Jenny watch this with you?
No.
Did you tell her about it afterwards?
Subject her to this shit.
Well, you subjected her to Lucy.
I did. Not the second time around. That was when neither of us knew what was coming.
Did you tell her about this, though?
No.
No? She'll hear about this on the podcast?
She doesn't listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
I love her with all my heart, but she does not listen to this.
That's totally fair.
Do you want to wrap it up, Tim?
Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up, please, for the fucking God.
Yeah. All right. Pub quiz question. Which one was it? I forget.
The last one.
Oh, yeah. Michael J. Fox's middle name. 3 more guesses. Go.
James.
No.
Justin.
No.
Jambalaya.
It's not Jambalaya. It's Andrew.
What? Is it spelled Anjrew?
that would be great, but no, it's just Andrew.
So why is it J?
Just sounds better.
Michael A. Fox doesn't sound that bad.
Michael, a fox.
That would be if it had a comma.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there you go. Michael A. Fox. Tim, Discord, Podpack Person of the Week.
Podpack Person of the Week. Let me pick one. I've lost the fucking Discord. Where's it gone?
Can I pick one?
Yeah, go for it.
It's
Joey,
Luke from the Nerdstalgic
Person of the Week.
Luke from the Nerdstalgic podcast.
Amazing.
Go listen to Nerdstalgic.
All right. Well, I think that'll just about do it for us then, really.
Yes. Don't ever watch Uglies, please.
No?
For your sake and mine. If you've watched it and think I'm being particularly harsh, let me know. If you have sense, also let me know.
Okay. All right, we'll see everyone next week. Where we'll do another morning, evening talk show.
Yeah, cool. So follow us on X, Game Club Pod. Twitch is Game Club Pod. We stream Thursdays and what day, Tim?
Thursdays, Mondays, sometimes Saturdays.
Thursdays, Mondays, sometimes Saturdays, where we're playing Baldur's Gate. It's good fun. You should be there.
Great fun.
If you can't catch the stream and want to catch it, watch it afterwards, they're all uploaded to YouTube at youtube.com/GameClubPod. We're on Blue Sky as well. I don't really know how the handles work on Blue Sky, but we are Game Club Pod on there.
Same as Twitter.
Well, Game Club Pod on absolutely everything. I think we're on Instagram, but we don't use that bad boy.
No.
TikTok, Game Club Pod. Email is videogameclub@gmail.com if you really want to send me something.
Yeah.
But
if you want to log into a service with that, yeah, go for it.
That's fine. Tim, anything you want to say?
Take that, you bastards.
Please take Uglies away, you bastards.
See you next week, everyone.
Bye. Bye.